Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 104 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, or should I say Dune Boyd, hey-oh, because of the movie. And I am joined on this special Halloweenish-esque whatever episode by none other than Cranium McLacrimal.
What's a lacrimal? I know lacrimosa. What's a lacrimal?
It's a face bone.
Oh, okay, that makes
Cranium
sense.
is a bone in the skull, and lacrimal is a bone in the skull. And so you're a skull boy for Halloween.
That's very true. I am a skull boy. I'm here to take everyone to the bone zone.
Oh, buddy. So, listeners.
Just letting that just sit in the air for a second and rapidly pivoting away.
Two things. Accidental 3-week break between episodes. We're sorry. Jeez. Whose fault was it, Campbell?
Probably mine.
It was yours.
Yeah.
I'm never too late to throw the blame on your lap. Yes, Campbell was redoing his recording situation at his house, and so we had to take a break. But we're back. We're doing it. We're recording. So fuck off.
Yep. And I thought I would definitely break in the recording space with my good friend Grip and his other good friend Rip.
Oh dang! I have a beer. Well, I'd finished it. I could go up and get another one, but I don't want to. I'm good for right now.
We're already recording. I've let this beer warm up to room temperature for the last half hour.
Very good. I want to quickly, as the second point before we get into the show, I want to suggest that listeners go watch the movie Dune, because it's real fucking good.
Hell yeah.
Have you seen it yet, Campbell?
Not yet.
What are you fucking waiting for?
We have some friends who want to watch it with us. We're thinking about going to see it in the theater. I'm a little dubious about that for many reasons, but also
the great thing about going to a theater right now is that nobody's going to a theater right now, so you can just watch a movie in a big room by yourself.
I would like to be able to see The Big Worm in real big vision, which I'm pretty excited about.
I just watched that dang thing here on my computer.
Just as the director intended.
Fuck it, whatever, dude. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Denis Villeneuve, that guy fucking rips shit. The movie is excellent. I guess we can talk about it when you go see it.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, let's
look forward to Worm Watch coming soon.
Let's get into the aspects here, or what's on our hobby radar. I'm going to start with a little bit of hobby progress. Hoggy progress. So I finished...
I'm feeling real hoggy today.
I finished those Orlock Wreckers, which were a lot of fun. These Orlocks that I do, the scheme, the McDonald's-esque scheme that I do, it kind of sucks to paint in the beginning because it's messy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of undercoats involved. So, not the most fun to paint. But once you get to the shade stage, the wash stage, it's fine. It looks good, and it's almost done. So they painted up pretty quick. I can't wait to try them out in a game. I haven't been able to play any Necromunda yet, even though I'm running a campaign right now, Necrojerks 2021. I'm sure I'll talk about it more. I haven't played any games yet, so we'll, later. Check back, listeners. So finish them. They again, a lot of fun. One of them has a hand flamer, and that seems a little bit mean on a guy with a jump pack.
I think that seems ideal, honestly. You got a hand flamer and a demo charge or something of the sort.
Hand flamer, stub gun, and a demo charge strapped to the leg. Though currently in the roster, I haven't bought a demo charge for him yet because they're like 45 credits, and I only have so many credits to start a gang.
Understandable, but yeah, being able to fly around, like the real turn and burn with that flying flamer is going to be. It's going to make you a lot of friends, I'm sure.
You know what, Campbell? I've said this many times, is I've got enough friends.
You can afford to start being picky at this point.
Exactly. So I finished my test model for Aeronautica Imperialis. I actually just posted that to Twitter and other places this evening. I finished it. A little bit of a pain in the butt to paint because I had to figure out how to hold it, because it's not on a base. It's not on a permanently attached base, and so I had to rig up a system to hold it. But once that happened, it was fine. it went pretty quickly because I primed the thing red. I used the Army
Which
Painter.
is the predominant color.
I used the Army Painter red spray. And after that, I was just like, all right, yellow. Then, of course, yellow takes a while to layer up. So that was kind of annoying. And then some metallic colors. That was also kind of annoying just because I don't like metallics that much. They're just gummy and hard to use well. And again, needed layers because like when you prime something black and you put lead belcher on top of it and the black shines through a little bit, it doesn't look awful.
No, it doesn't look the worst. It will look better if you get it more consistent, but it doesn't look the worst.
Right, but when you prime something red, like you have to hit it with multiple thin coats, and it just takes a while, and it's kind of annoying. However, once I got the base coats done and I got to the shade stage, I just fucking... So I went over on the metallics on that one, and you can check it out on my Twitter. It's at @DB_sleazy. It's probably my latest tweet. I haven't been tweeting a lot lately because, why would I comment on how awful everything is? I did the metallics in Nuln Oil first, right? And then I did the whole fucking thing in Agrax. Because I wanted the metals to be a little dirtier than I usually have them with my stuff. But I wanted them to be dark too,
Yeah.
So I figured I'll do both, and it worked out fine. It looks great. And then I did a bunch of weathering, Campbell, and I know the listeners are like, oh, Dan did weathering? It's true. I did some good old fashioned sponge weathering, which I think actually looked pretty good. I tried to focus it most on the front and the edges of the plane. The wing edges, because that's where the most shit would hit the plane. And orcs, I'm pretty sure orcs don't take very good care of their planes.
Yeah, I have it on good authority. They hit a lot of shit with their planes.
Yeah, and then with the canopies, what I try to do is like a blue gradient thing, where like if you're flying high in the atmosphere, the sky above you is like darker than the sky around you because atmosphere and shit. And so I try to do like darker up top and lighter on the bottom to show that it's like flying high in the atmosphere with some blue. And I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out. It's not... They're little mini models, so I wasn't going to go crazy on the details, right? I did dry brushing. I haven't done dry brushing in fucking forever, but I did dry brushing in these things, and I think it works out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like when I painted mine, I just did a shitload of dry brushing. I'm looking at the model right now. It looks great. But I'm wondering, did you do like black lining on the canopy there? Just because the divide between the like roll cage and the canopy looks pretty dang clean and pretty dang distinct.
I did not do black lining. I'm just that fucking good.
Hell yeah.
That's right, listeners. Go to my Twitter and look at pictures. Anyways, the last thing I did is I cleaned the release agent off of the Mega Bomber that Greg Bot over at Guggenhammer sent me last Christmas. I don't think I'm ready to paint it yet, though I think I might start putting it together tomorrow just for funsies. I'm not going to do the video. The people have been asking like, oh, Dan, do a video of you putting the thing together. I'm not going to. It's not going to be that hard. It's a shit ton of pieces, but it's not... Like it's not going to be too bad. If I'm wrong, I'll talk about it next episode about that. But no, I don't anticipate this being too difficult of a thing. I don't think I'm ready to paint this thing just yet, though. I want to try to get another plane done, maybe of a different size. Maybe I'll do one of my Grot bombers.
That's a good idea.
To warm up to the Mega Bomber and maybe put some more artistic, maybe not artistic, but more thematic elements on it, like checks and dags and checkerboard patterns and stuff that a lot of orc planes. Because this one, I didn't do that because I was just like, I want to see what the scheme looks like when it's done without putting a ton of effort into extra shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like your minimum viable product for how you want this army to look, or this air wing to look.
I think it works though.
Oh yeah, no, I think it looks great. I think I'd be happy to see that on the tabletop.
I was kind of agonizing over the missiles and rockets. I was like, oh man, these have tiny fucking details, and I really don't want to paint little bits of red and yellow on them. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm just not going to fucking do it. I just painted them fucking metal.
I think when I did my Imperial planes, I painted the missiles on a few of them white. and just like maybe dotted the tip with red and didn't even like, I think I may have like recess washed them or something like that. With the orcs, I left them off altogether because who's going to fucking know? If you're picking up my airplane to look under it and be like, it doesn't look like you took a Hellstrike missile. Well, you can find someone else to play Aeronautica Imperialis, the very much supported game with.
I mean, you say that, but they just are putting out new shit for Aeronautica.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
right
It's really fucking good.
So we'll get to that in a little bit and new stuff. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I do want to get some more stuff painted up from this so I can actually learn how to play this game. So yeah, it's
fun.
It's happening, man. Oh, hey,
Righteous.
I found Dan R on Twitter.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to follow him right now.
I already did.
Good for you. I met him at New Orleans at the New Orleans Warhammer event, and he's a very nice guy. So I just followed his ass.
Righteous.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Anyways.
Yeah, fuck that nice guy.
What did you do via Hobby Progress in the last 3 weeks?
Whew, I did a bit. So I finished Kagra's Ravagers and Acold Hellbrass for my Days of Darkness pretty early on into like the first week that we were off.
None of those words make any fucking sense.
Oh, of the 4 words I said, 3 are proper nouns that were invented by Games Workshop.
Okay.
But I'm happy that they came out. Like, they hit that right. It's actually very similar to how, like, with your orcs, where it's like black and brown washes in the metal just to get that like more dark, dirty sort of look. It's kind of like the foundation of that scheme. And they came together real nice, a lot of fun, a lot of little details just because, you know, Shadespire warbands, Warhammer Underpants warbands, but they're a lot of fun.
Remember when some hobbyists were mad about washes because they were like, oh, it's too easy.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's cheating. And I'm like, no, this is, if it is, I'm happy to cheat here.
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
There it is. Yeah. And, I mean, of course, that ire has then moved on to contrast paints. And at this point, I think people are chilled out and waiting for the next thing to get mad at, or rather they're getting mad about other things that aren't hobby products that they also know nothing about, but neither here nor there. I've always been a big fan of washes.
Anything that makes your painting look better. I feel like it's such a ridiculous thing to get mad about when you're like, oh man, the painting is too easy.
Yeah.
It's just like a fucking politics of grievance bullshit, you know, when like, it's like, oh, well, I had it hard, so everybody else has to have it hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I remember being like, oh, I painted Deathwing Terminators back in the day, and it was like, okay, I do a coat of Scorched Brown, then a coat of Snakebite Leather, then a second coat of Snakebite Leather, then 4 coats of Bleached Bone.
Yep, and I remember that shit. You Snakebite Leather was like, it was like Scorched Brown, Snakebite Leather, and then you could either go to like bone color or you could go to like yellow or like all sorts of other shit. That's how you worked up because the yellow and the bone pigments were so shitty from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Now, fuck them, man. If you're complaining about hobby being too easy because the paint got better, go jump in a lake.
I invite you to take a walk out into the lava fields here in Oregon, find some rocks, and
why don't you take a long walk off a short pier?
Really think on that one. It'll make more sense when you're at the bottom.
I'm glad that you added to that.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Like it wasn't like a joke. But I'm glad that you added to it. I like it when we work on stuff together as a team.
I'm caught up in the bit. I'm just happy. Caught up in the bit.
There you go.
Sorry, that reminds me. My parents sent me 36 bagels the other day. So
oh shit,
I'm the bagel boy now.
Did you ask for these, or were they just like? Hey son, have a bunch of fucking bagels on us. Your parents.
I was like, there's no good bagels here in Central Oregon.
Yeah.
What they think are bagels here are just round bread. And
that's right, Central Oregon, you're on fucking notice.
You just got to get some good bagels. Just got to get some good donuts. Just got to get some. There's some good pizza here.
They don't have good donuts.
We have some okay donuts, but there's not like.
All right, do you consider Krispy Kreme to be good donuts?
I don't even think we have a Krispy Kreme, and not really. They're enjoyable.
I think when you get them hot, they're unbeatable.
Best thing, when you get them hot and they come right off the presses, and you get to watch the donut presses. But you see, you watch them like go like get cooked out by the machine, dip into the oil, and then go under the waterfall of icing. Ugh. That is like a divine experience.
I think I've only done it like twice in my life. Like I was drunk in DuPont Circle in DC, and just like happened to be walking by the Krispy Kreme, and they got the little sign on that says like fresh donuts or some shit. And I stopped my friends like, we're fucking getting Krispy Kreme, motherfuckers. And then we would do that, and like like 4 dudes would inhale 24 Krispy Kremes. And this is, of course, after an entire night of drinking. A quick 2,000 calories worth of donuts after drinking 4,000 calories worth of beer.
Well, you're carb loading to carb offload later.
Yes.
It's all good.
Yes.
I've only done it once. I had one, and I watched my friend cram like 3 or 4 in his mouth immediately afterwards. So, it's a good time. But yeah, no, donut situation here could use some improvement. Those are my notes. But yeah, I got all the bagels I could ever need right now, or at least all the bagels I need for the remainder of the month. Anyway, hobby progress.
I eat a bagel every morning.
I don't eat a bagel every morning.
It's my preferred breakfast.
I do either bagel or croissant because now I have bagels.
Croissant?
A croissant, yeah.
It might not be the healthiest thing, a bagel every morning, but I don't give a shit. They're delicious, and I want to enjoy my life.
As well you should. Life is just a little better with big old carb rings ingested every morning. And
I know
actually,
you're joking.
I'm not joking. Actually, I'm saying as I'm making this joke adjacent statement, I'm realizing actually I'm speaking. I'm smaking.
As you're smaking this joke adjacent statement.
As I am speaking the words with my mouth adjacent to this joke, I realize I'm speaking the truth.
Okay, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
That's okay. I don't mind. I'm just happy to talk to my bud.
Hey.
But hobby stuff, man. So I was fortunate enough to get the Black Templars army box early for Goonhammer.
Oh,
and
shit.
I built all the Marines in there.
Fucking big time McLaughlin over here. Jeez, getting your BT into BTs. That's right. He's big time in the Black Templars.
Oh, I like that. It's me, the press boy. And I even wrote a review of the that whole Black Templars box for Goonhammer, which you can go check out on Goonhammer.
I read it.
Good. I'm glad.
I did not comment though.
No one should. No one should write comments or read comments. They should all be just immediately jettisoned into the sun. So I've built all the Marines in there. I haven't built the Dreadnought yet, but I did build and paint the Marshal because I got to make him look just like my original Black Templars Marshal, which I painted as the test model for my Black Templars back in 2017, Marshal Siegfried. So I painted him up and posted
maybe
a little,
I should get now that you're doing Black Templars, instead of the Tarantella button, maybe I should get like an Oompa button.
I wouldn't mind like
a polka button.
A polka button.
That's Polish though, right? Where does polka come from? Let's see what Google has to say.
Czech. Or it originated in Bohemia, an area within the Czech Republic.
Oh, okay.
It's more popular in Czech and Slovakian regions than Germany, but is still associated with Oktoberfest.
I feel like it's. I guess it's got to be like Oompa music, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Or like Rammstein.
I wouldn't mind a little Stein, you know?
No, I don't like. I like Rammstein a lot. Don't get me wrong; they got some good fucking songs. But man, that's another fan base that I just stay the fuck away from.
That's probably advisable. Eddie Hoomst, painted the Marshal. Very happy with how he came out. I'm doing the real galaxy brain move of batch painting all 10 of the Crusaders and the Emperor's Champion at once.
I saw you were doing that, and I have no idea what you're doing or why.
Well, at first I'm like, okay, I'll just batch all the basing because I built them all once, I primed them all once. I'm like, I'll just batch all the basing easy.
I'm just gonna batch the basin. Hey! I'm just gonna fucking batch the basin over here. What are you fucking doing?
With a little dry brush, maybe.
I'm batching a basin.
Bit of rocks in there. Yeah, ain't no big thing.
Hey, what are you fucking doing? I'm batching a basin.
Batch the basin over here. What do you think? Detail work? No fucking way. Actually, although, yeah, I am doing detail work now. I was doing highlights in the tabards earlier today. But yeah, I'm punishing myself by batch painting these 11 models. Most of them aren't too bad, but the Emperor's Champion's got a little bit going on with his big
he's got some details.
Crusader. He's got some details, but he's refreshingly austere for a
couple of deets.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to like connect the synapses to be like D-Templars. No, that doesn't work.
No, you've done a great job with this Marshal, though. I'm looking at it on your Twitter, which is @BrotherSRM, and you've done quite a great job. You've got some excellent personal heraldry there. Are those some transfers that you've used within this personal heraldry?
Let me double check that. Yes, the chain is a transfer, and the little Templar cross is a transfer.
Templar crosses too, yeah.
Yeah, but I freehanded the red checkerboards. And
you also did a
stripes.
whole bunch of hazard stripes on his gun because I guess that's your shtick. Though I really like the light coming out of his religious thing hanging by his dong.
It's the little thing he carries around his fireflies in. Between battles, he goes ahead and catches them and runs into war with them, I guess. But yeah, thank you. That's just
should we do German accent bits for like Black Templar shtick? Is that anything?
I'm gonna be paying Templars for a while, and that sounds pretty tiresome.
Can we do funny German accents?
We probably can do funny German accents to a degree.
Yeah, I found the firefly. I found it and I put it in my little jar. Is that funny?
I don't want to say it's funny adjacent because it's giving it too much credit.
Ooh.
Most of my German comedy falls on Achmine landmines, and it doesn't really get any further than that.
I remember there was okay, this is extremely niche, but a long time ago there was a bit on Saturday Night Live called Stockenblocken, which was supposed to be a German game show, but if you didn't line up the things correctly, like the very angry German host would set attack dogs on you.
I like that.
So that has always been like a joke with my band. Like when we're putting things in the cars to go to a show, it's like we're gonna Stockenblocken, and that is a joke that we continuously reference.
Cool.
And nobody else knows it, so which is exactly what makes it funny.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all of you. To pull us out of this interminable hobby progress section,
listeners, we're gonna try out these German accents. We're gonna see if it sticks. Just bear with us. We're here in the comedy mines. We're digging.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't got no canaries to send to these comedy mines, so all of you are the canaries here.
Breaking rocks, it's the most fun. I fought the jokes and the jokes won. I fought the jokes and the jokes won.
I came for jokes, but they had none. I fought the jokes and the jokes won.
Can we agree that the Social Distortion version of that song is the best version of that song?
You know what? I'll give it to you. I would have said the Clash version, but Social Distortion built on what they put down. I'm
just a fan of Mike Ness, and I don't care who knows. Don't tell me he's bad. Don't tell me he's a bad human. He might be. I hope he's not. I really hope he's not. Jeez, I don't want to know. I don't want to find out. I'm just going to stay ignorant.
I saw Social Distortion once live in the middle of July at Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel in Providence, Rhode Island, and their air conditioner was broken.
Yeah.
So it was one of the hottest, most cramped, sweatiest, hardest to breathe evenings of my entire life, and I wish I could remember the show.
That sounds fun.
It was not my favorite show I've ever been to. No fault of the band. They put on a good show. Last but not least, a listener, Papa Nurgle, sent me their Sergeant Castus model, which is that like Doom-looking Marine shooting out the Necrons, and a beautiful illustration of Dick Butt as a cactus. So that's also good.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that'll be the episode art. Who fucking knows?
Why didn't Papa Nurgle send shit to me? What the fuck, man?
Clearly because you're not as extremely online as I am, and you leave the Discord once in a while.
Oh, I rarely post on our Discord.
I'm there often.
I've decided that I can't read it every day, or else I hate our listeners.
So come join our Discord if you want to talk to one of us.
I mean, I'm on there lurking, judging, but I rarely post. That's right, listeners. I'm judging always.
I am a judgment-free zone.
I'm gonna intimidate our listeners into, I don't know what. Listen to the show? Give us money? I don't know.
I mean, we already do that every week.
Listen, I'm just gonna continue to be a shithead, and you can continue to be the nice one, and you get the gifts, and I get the grifts. I don't know.
I'll let someone else explain your bit to you later.
Oh my God.
Let's move on before I get too salty.
Oh, no. Let's explain that. Yeah, there was a listener explaining how I'm the heel on the show to me, the heel on the show on the Discord, and you guys are wondering why I don't like our listeners anymore. Jesus fuck, dude.
I still like you.
This is like one of those things where now that I'm away from my coworkers, right? Mm-hmm. Like I recently had an opportunity to get together with a couple of coworkers to do a remote recording the other day, and it was tons of fun. I was so excited to leave the house. Oh my God, I had something to do outside of the house. Wow. Oh, frabjurous day, Kaloo Calais. All right. It was fucking fantastic. And I realized like, man, coworkers are pretty cool. But like 2 years ago, you would have been like, hey, Dan, what about coworkers? How do you feel about them? And I'd be like, yo, fuck those motherfuckers. And now it's like with listeners, since the socialization I get during the day is mostly through Discord, which I'm sure is real fucking healthy. I see our listeners comment on anything, and all I can think is, oh my God, I hate you.
Look at this motherfucker posting cute pictures of their dog or their cat or their child.
Look at
this dipshit posting nice painted models. Look at this fucking clown shoes tell me to have a good time.
No. When people post their pets or their children or like something nice happening or something, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's great. But if that was the only channel I stayed in, it would be healthy. But I don't stay in that channel, Campbell. I let people fucking at me. I don't know why we haven't disabled adding me on the fucking Discord yet. It's infuriating. Somebody will claim that Red Hot Chili Peppers is ska, and I lose my fucking mind for an hour and a half. It's awful. It's completely fucking awful. Some fucking reject from Team Metal on the Discord comes in with fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers is ska, and I can't fucking deal with it. And I have
coming down from the state of California. Yeah.
Like without even thinking of it, I've right clicked on their little avatar and I'm hovering over the band, whatever the fuck their name is. Shit. I'm just like I wasn't even thinking. My body just did it.
Oh, I'm so glad to send you straight to hell.
Oh man,
did you play any games of Warhammer 40,000?
I did. Anything else? Though you start with games played, so why don't you tell me?
You're right. Okay, yeah. I had two. First versus Forest Sisters of Battle. This time around, he did not take repressors or any Legends units, but he did have 2 rhinos full of Repentia, some of the Nundums, Penitent Engines, some squads of Battle Sisters, the Halberd and Shield Ladies, and a whole bunch of characters with some custom order that's like the extended melt range one and the Bloody Rose melee bonuses, which means they're kind of good at everything. And while I took a pretty decent Ultramarines list, I did take a Redemptor in there, which was a bad idea because that just got fucking aced by Meltaguns. It took until turn 2 for it to die.
Pretty decent Ultramarines list, huh?
All things considered.
Doesn't exist, Campbell.
Working with what I got.
Yeah.
The thing is, he had turn 1, and he was able to bracket my Dread and kill my Las Fusel Eliminators. And I wasn't really able to season the fact that most of my shit was still alive because I deployed poorly. My Eradicators were way on the flanks where they didn't have good targets or any aura abilities. My Intercessors holding on one flank were unsupported. And I took bad secondaries because, I finally took Oath of Moment, which I didn't know was good.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, that one was actually very good for me. I did take Assassinate because I'm like, a bunch of T3 characters. This is going to be easy. And I didn't know that Sisters had a stratagem that just let them revive one of their characters.
Yeah.
And he used like one of his miracle dice, so they came back with like full wounds or whatever.
Yep.
And if I knew about that strat and how good the Shield and Halberd ladies were at defending characters, I would have taken something I actually could have scored on. Yeah,
you are learning, and that is good.
Yeah, I am learning.
It's not a mistake, Campbell. Well, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's not a bad thing if you make a mistake and you learn from it.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, for what it's worth, I still, I held my own. It was a defeat, but it was a 58-74 loss. So, I don't feel too bad about that, especially since I straight up wasn't able to score on one of my secondaries. Mm-hmm. So, my second game was against this guy Q and his Tyranids, which is it was a 1250 list.
VQ?
I don't know.
Like from QAnon?
I don't know. I hope not. If he is, I would expect him to be older. But yeah, he might be Q from Star Trek. I'm not sure which. Or he might just be someone in college whose first name is something like Quentin and they want to rebrand themselves, because I've known more than one person who was just like, yeah, call me V. And I'm like, sure thing, Van. Or
Quentin.
Whatever. Quentin. That means Quentin.
That means the fifth of something. Not like a fifth of Jack, but like the number 5 in a sequence.
Yeah, I figured that was the case.
Of whole number positive integers.
Cool. You're just free associating here, ain't you?
This is you know what? Fuck you. Just because you don't understand what I'm fucking talking about doesn't mean I'm not making sense.
I get what you're talking about.
Dunce.
I do. Anyway.
Fucking get D's nuts, motherfucker.
Get DB_sleaze nuts.
I'm still fucking turnt about these goddamn listeners. How dare they?
How dare they? All right. I got to use the new Black Templars rules.
Oh, so shit, yeah.
Yeah, I took an old school list, which is like big Crusader squad, small fire support Crusader squad, Turner Chaplain, 10 Van Vets, who are the old Sword Brethren, and a Landor Crusader, Contemptor Dreadnought, Landspear Tornado, and a Tech Marine. He took basically a monster mash list, like a couple, like 2 10-man squads of Gaunts, 4 Zoanthropes, a Neurothrope, a Broodlord, Swarm Lord, a few Rippers, a Lictor, and a Scythe Tyrajewel.
Oh, wow.
Which I had no answer for at 1250. And it was one of the most awkward games I've ever played. While I was figuring out some new stuff, I'd done a very good job writing out a cheat sheet, studying up for the game, figuring out what my stuff did, and my opponent only had Battlescribe and a few preconceived understandings about the rules that were not correct, so I got to feel like a jerk for 4 turns as I corrected him time and time again. So, like, I'm no rules expert, as I will explain in a second when I get to my secondaries, but he thought monsters could benefit from cover. They can't. He thought his Zoanthropes could use Smite multiple times per turn. They can't. He thought characters could retrieve Octarius data. They can't. He thought ignores line of sight also meant ignores lookout, sir. It doesn't. Like, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And
so he just didn't know the fucking rules to the game.
Yeah, like army rules and game rules. Which was very frustrating because he'd say something with like conviction and I'd be like, that ain't true.
That ain't how it goes.
And all he had was Battlescribe and not an actual like rules or anything like that. So that was kind of
even like, he didn't have a fucking rule book or codex or anything,
or printout. No.
This is why I fucking hate Battlescribe, dude. People get Battlescribe and they look at the rules and they think it's right, and it's never fucking right. You can't trust Battlescribe.
If you already know the rules, it's a great tool. But it's if that's what you're using as your primary source, it ain't gonna get you there. On top of that, the store we were playing at Modern Games, and the playlist of the store for that day, for whatever reason, was just like sad girl with an acoustic guitar playing down tempo minor key versions of pop songs for 3 hours. So it was just a really
my wife
vibe.
was the DJ that day.
It was not a very comfortable vibe. I made a few mistakes that cost me, like, basically I had my Tech Marine out of position. I did a very bad job scoring Oath of Moment. And
I'm just shaking my head over here. You should have Kobayashi Maru'd this fucking game and just been like, oh, you don't know your fucking rules? All right, peace.
Well, the problem is I'd just been drinking and I couldn't drive yet.
I mean, you don't, well, okay. Well, I mean, I would have just been like drunk and not playing. Just be like, fuck you, guy, you suck at this. Learn your fucking rules, then we can play. Yeah. And then, but like I said, I don't need more friends.
That's fair. So a few good things did happen though. So I had bathe your blade in the blood of the foe, which is one of those extremely metal sounding, sick as hell secondaries out there, and it's a Templar one. And I did a great job.
If you said that was a Bolt Thrower album name, I would believe you.
Yes, I would too. So yeah, my chaplain got to smash his Broodlord, and I got 15 points on that, which was pretty fucking cool. He also tried to tie up my Landor Crusader with some Gaunts, and I whiffed an Overwatch. Nope. It was only 5 Gaunts. They charge it. 3 of them get through, and I'm like, oh, fuck. He attacks, nothing happens. All right, fine, whatever. My Landor rolls its attacks, scores 4 hits, runs all the Gaunts over, and just drives right up.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, so that part was cool, but we called it on turn 4. I didn't really have much left to kill his big dudes at that point, but my main melee punch was doing its job. I focused on points, and I was up 54-36, so happy to leave the store at that particular juncture. It was.
Are you going to play this person again?
In a couple months when they've learned the rules, I hope.
Yeah.
He's a nice enough guy. He just didn't know the rules, and I felt like a jerk for correcting him all the time.
Oh, you are a jerk.
I'm usually not right either. Anyway.
No, that much is true. All right, so I played a couple games here. I got a game against Tony Kopak's Death Guard. He came over. We had some fun. He kicked my butt, as is tradition in games against Tony. It was one of the 4 objective games, which I was like, I can go use my Vanguard vets and do a first turn charge and try to get on the offensive here. Mistake. Shouldn't have done that. I should have just fucking chilled and let him and his slow ass Death Guard come to me. Because, the Death Guard, they have some of those indirect firing Plague Burst crawlers.
Yeah.
But indirect fire shit just really doesn't ever do anything against Raven Guard. Like,
yeah, I believe that.
It's like, you're hitting on 4s and I've got 1-up saves. So, do whatever you want there, guy. Oh, it's -2. Okay, well, I'm still saving on 3s, and there's an apothecary right there. So, okay, cool, good for you. So, it's a object lesson of take it easy. Instead of getting all fucking rough and ready to go, just take it easy on these 4 objective games and play the long game, because it was a long table edge too, and so not a whole lot of room to move. Just got to fucking take it easy. Just like the accent bit said. Then I played a game of Blood Bowl.
Hell yeah.
So I joined a local Blood Bowl league. When I say local, the term is very loose, because the league is out of a store called Gritty Goblin Games in fucking Columbia, Maryland, which is a solid hour away.
Oof. It's a good name for a store, though.
But the guy came to my house to play.
Oh, sweet.
So that was not so bad. Though I do have to go up there this weekend to get game 2 in. I was trying to get a neutral space that was in between the second guy I'm playing, and my house, and it didn't work out. So I have to go all the way up there on Sunday, and I'm not like dreading that, but I'm not super excited about it either. Yeah, anyways. It was a first game in a league, which is, 1,000 GP teams. So nothing special is going on. I'm using the Baja Blasters.
Oh, nice.
Even though elves are bad, I'm doing it because I've never done it before, and I want to see just how bad. Here's the thing, Campbell.
Yeah.
I couldn't really find out how bad my elves are because my dice were so bad. It was truly fucking insane.
Confirmation bias.
We're gonna talk. No, there's no fucking bias here. God damn it, Campbell. We're gonna talk more about this later, so I'm just gonna brush by it right now because we're gonna get into it later in the show. But it was a truly awful bit of dice rolling. All right, let's move on.
Sorry for the blasters.
No, they're fine. Don't worry about it. One did die. One of the linemen died. Okay, an elf lineman dying. I'm just like, oh my God, thank you, Nuffle, which of course is the Blood Bowl god deity, named after NFL, the National Football League, because those guys in 1989 were real fucking funny.
Yeah, it's very subtle. Don't know if you picked up on that one.
Yeah. So I in that game, I got 3 casualties scored against me, 2 linemen and a blitzer. One of the linemen died, which, whatever, it's a fucking lineman, don't care. The other lineman got a serious injury, so they're missing next game, and the blitzer was fine. And so that was all I care about is the blitzer, because blitzers in elf blitzers are really fucking good. They're actually one of the best players on the pitch, regardless of what pitch they're on or who else is on the pitch, because they come with block and sidestep, and they're kind of badasses. I don't think you know what any of that means, but it's okay. They're just really good players. But mine didn't get permanently hurt, so thank goodness for that.
Nice.
Let's talk about some new stuff, huh?
Yeah, there's a bit, and some of it's Blood Bowl related.
2 of them are, first off, the Khorne Bloodspawn model has been previewed. It's big and mean. Its rules are pretty gnarly too, with some strength 5. That's always a big inflection point there. It's got some good skills too. Claws, of course, bypasses armor for injuries, very important. Frenzy allows for multiple blocks in a turn, also very important. And for surfing, for throwing people off the pitch, which can be very gnarly. Mighty Blow, all the big guys have Mighty Blow, which is nice. And then Unchanneled Fury, which is the reskinned wild animal. And, you're not really missing out a whole lot there. It's a strong, tough, fearsome blocker. And the model is pretty good. It's close to the art that they drew for it. But, man, they went real tame on the paint job on the model when they could have gone real gnarly like they did in the art.
That's understandable. I think he's a dude who, he very obviously skips leg day. And he is very obviously left-handed.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a big old... What was that film that was bad?
Most of them.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Remember
that's a 2003 movie.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Yep.
But he's got remember Mr. Hyde from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? The movie, of course, not the... Not the comic book.
It looks kind of like Stretch Armstrong. Oh, God, it looks awful.
Yeah. So anyways, that gives me that vibe. But the art is actually really gory with actual bones poking through the skin and sores and blood everywhere. And then they kind of just went he's a demon. Look at his spikes with the paint job, which I was, honestly a little bit disappointed in.
Yeah, he's a red fella.
All right, next we got the Lizardman Croxagore, which is the Lizardman big guy, because that team needs a fucking big guy. Why the hell not?
Needs the help.
Who's honestly one of the best big guys in the entire game, with great stats. Movement fucking 6 for a big guy, which is just crazy. He's too fast. He's far too fast. But Prehensile Tail is a really annoying one where your sacrificial idiot lineman can't even dodge away from the motherfucker because they get tripped up by the tail, and then they get eaten. Which, I mean, hey, that's good for the Croxagore, I guess. Yeah. They're hungry. They're big gators.
Yeah, the model is cool as hell. I do have to wonder why he has a nipple, because I'm not sure how lizard men are. Does he lactate? Does he have a pubis? Who knows?
So here's a question for you. I see some other small scale-like stuff to the down and to the left from that alleged nipple.
Yeah.
Is that just a scale, or is that a nip?
Either that's a scale or those are all nipples.
Yeah, and I'm not a biologist, but I'm pretty sure that lizards don't produce milk.
And if
they did, I'm sure somebody would be selling lizard milk out there somewhere. What do you think lizard milk tastes like?
Kind of like snake oil.
Delicious.
Or headlight fluid. Yeah.
Ooh. All right, let's move on, though, to Warhammer 40,000. Listen, I'm just going to blast through the new stuff here.
Yeah,
because
there ain't too much more, because there's a Warhammer Day preview event in 3 days. So we're getting ahead of it.
Next episode, right? There's something about Cadians. They were putting out articles that had Cadians in them, and my eyes just slid right past them.
It's it's one of the narrative books. No big deal.
There's a new Warcry warband, I guess, and they're spider-themed, which is fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And they're opposite other new Warcry warband, which is apparently muscle themed.
Right. There's another muscle bunch.
Yeah,
in Warcry.
They look like they're going more for the classic Chaos Marauder look, and the Slaughterborn is the one they showed off.
They already did do the classic Chaos Marauder, or am I thinking Underpants?
You're thinking Underpants, and also sort of the Spire Tyrants from Warcry. Either way, I'm fucking here for any muscle bunch shit. More big dudes, more big swords, more big muscles. Please and thank you.
I actually do like the Spider Guy model for Warcry. I think that's pretty cool. Actually,
yeah, he's dynamic. He's creepy. He's cool.
I'm a fan of spiders in general, so spider guy, spider themed guy. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah,
transitive property of being a fan. So next we've got some Aeronautica Imperialis stuff. We're getting the Space Marines, we're getting the Eldar, and they showed off on Warhammer Community like a bunch of different chapters painted, the Thunderhawks painted as different chapters. And this is when I decided I am never going to do Raven Guard for Aeronautica Imperialis, because one look at this fucking Raven Guard Thunderhawk and seeing how this person who's far crazier than I am went and edge highlighted this entire fucking model. I can't do that. I can't do it to myself, and I wish this person didn't do it because I can't imagine they're doing okay anymore.
It looks so fucking cool though.
It does look amazing. They did a really fantastic job on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fucking good. But no, I can't do this. I can't do it. So I'm not going to.
All right, good luck. It's okay, I'll do it.
I don't need the luck, Campbell. I'm giving up.
Put that in your headstone.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that. All right, let's move on.
All right.
New stuff is quick. I love it. Though I guess next episode we're going to end up talking for an hour about new shit, aren't we?
Rip to us.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, let's do the We Make the Call, where we take question from listeners and we answer it here on the show. This one is from Joey Custodi.
Ooh.
You know, Joseph Knobloch via email. Joey says, my friends and I were chatting about how we like to paint our miniatures. I prefer to paint the faces of my models first because it's a natural focal point of the model and it keeps me motivated. Others felt that was too risky, as it would be too easy to paint over the face by mistake. What do you guys think? How do you approach the sometimes laborious process of miniature painting?
So I love painting skin, as you will know from my various muscles bunches and so on. And I like saving the head for last because I like to save it as a little treat. It's like painting the face is just like after painting, a squad of 5 dudes in blue power armor or whatever, just being like, oh, tend to break out a bunch of flesh tones and some washes and do a lot of like nice little like subtle blending on here. Ton of fun. Always save it for last.
I generally do the face when I do the skin on the model. I also love painting skin. For me, it's usually somewhere in the beginning of the middle is when I paint faces, because skin is usually one of the bottom layers, right? And so I like to, when I'm not painting Raven Guard, I have a whole step-by-step system that I haven't deviated from the beginning because it helps me remember to paint everything.
Right.
So it's a little bit different for them, but it's also, the answer to that is in the middle when I'm painting Raven Guard. When I'm painting anything else, I usually start with the lowest layers, right? So if it's an Orlok guy wearing a shirt with the sleeves rolled up, I'll probably do skin first. And the way I do things is generally like base coats. Then if I'm layering anything on top of base coats, do that. And then I'll do all the washes at once on the models. And then I'll go into highlights. But I usually start from bottom up. So skin and faces generally get first for me when it comes to when I'm actually doing on the highlight stage of models, because they're the lowest level of texture usually.
Gotcha.
And so I like to work up like that, because a lot of times when you have to like get in between raised areas, like if somebody's got leather straps or something and there's some skin in between, I want to finish that skin first, because I feel like for me, if I'm trying to get in between stuff, I'm going to paint over the stuff that's on top of it. You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
Fat fingering shit and just, it's easy to fuck up like that. So I paint low, high for most things, and skin is usually the lowest layer on a model.
Yeah. All right.
I hope that makes sense, Joey.
Yeah. Two approaches, and I don't think either is invalid.
Well, certainly not invalid, but I mean, I get it. I mean, like saving it for the end is fun, because painting faces especially is a ton of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think let's move on.
Yeah. Moving.
No, you have a thought. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I'm painting like an orc or whatever, maybe, painting his face at the same time as the rest of his skin, or any sort of model that is like predominantly skin. That's one thing. But I'd still tend to paint their other stuff first a lot of the time, because a lot of the time stuff like armor, like especially on orcs, actually, just because there's a lot of I tend to have dry brushing or chipping or sponging or whatever. I don't want to, over sponge the armor plate and hit the skin or something like that. Right.
Yeah. That is something to think about for orcs, is like sometimes you want to go skin last if you're going to do a bunch of indiscriminate weathering on other parts of the model.
Right. Or slathering washes everywhere like I do in my Daves to Darkness. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Good thinking. Mm-hmm. All right. So let me start this next segment off with a story.
Yeah, please do.
So this is from my Blood Bowl game the other day. This segment is about what to do when your dice betray you. Let me talk about this. So a Blood Bowl game is 16 turns, right? 8 turns in the first half, 8 turns in the second half. And there's this thing called a turnover that happens when you fuck something up and your turn immediately ends. So this is one of the things that turn people off about Blood Bowl, is that when you fuck up, your turn's over, and sometimes that can be really, really bad for the game. But veteran Blood Bowl players know to love the turnover, because it'll happen to them just like it happens to you. Well, here's the thing, Campbell. In this game, the first 8 turns of the game, the entire first half, literally all of my turns ended on a turnover.
Ooh.
And every single roll that I made, that I failed, rather, was a 2+ roll. And on 2 out of these 8 turns, I had used rerolls that rerolled a 1 into a 1. And I'm telling you, man, so the first turn, it was like on the last thing I tried to do, which is pick up the ball. Because it's counterintuitive, but a lot of times in Blood Bowl, the last thing you want to do is pick up the ball. Okay. Because you want to get your team in position and make your key blocks and stuff first, and then you start moving the ball around. Because usually if the ball's way in the back of the pitch, especially against a slower team, it's not critical to have it in your possession, because the other team can't get to it, and you just don't need to worry about it right then. And also, if you drop it, you can pick it up and throw it later in the turn, like you can in the next turn. So it's not a big deal. Against speedier teams, you have to play a little differently, but I was playing against dwarves, so I was just like, I can't get to the ball, so I'll just wait to pick up the ball. So it was the last thing I was doing on the turn, but I still failed. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So first turn's over. He plays his turn. I get to my second turn, and on like my second fucking dodge, I fail the reroll. That is, reroll a 1 into another 1, and turns over.
Oh, jeez.
And at this point, I'm like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Ugh. But it's still elves against dwarves, where I can strike pretty much from anywhere and get a touchdown or get into space or something. And dwarves need a lot of setup because they're slow as hell. But here's what happened, Campbell. Every turn thereafter was a premature turnover. As in, I was not done setting up my turn.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was just an incredible run of 1s. And every roll was a 2-up. Every single one. I remember there was one turn where I was like, all right, first thing I got to do is make this block, but this guy's got to dodge. This was like turn 6 or turn 7 or something. And it's like, all I got to do is make it 2-up, and so I can go block this guy. Fail. First thing I do. Fail.
Good God.
Just awful. So it was 8 turns of misery.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, out of the 8 turns in the second half, 4 of them ended on turnovers also, because why the fuck not? Why would my dice get any better? So it was one of those situations where my dice completely betrayed me. And as everybody knows in this hobby, you just have games like that where you roll like shit the whole time and you can't fucking explain it.
Yeah, like statistics are nice, math hammer is nice, but it's not representative of what you're seeing on the tabletop.
Right, and like, human brains are bad at remembering things, and we generally only remember the bad things. And we love anecdotal evidence. Oh my God, we love anecdotal evidence. But everybody out there has etched in their minds games where they just completely blew rolls left and fucking right. And then they're just like, I shouldn't be losing this, but I can't roll anything but ones. And I have no idea how to explain it. So the question we wanted to ask in this segment is, what do you do? What do you do with yourself when your dice are this legendarily bad?
I would say I'll follow up your story time with a story time of my own as an example of what not to do.
Oh, nice.
So when I was a teenager, I was very aggro because teenage emotions run high and no one told me how to control them very well. So I would frequently throw my dice. I would like pitch them into the yard. I would line them up and hit one with a hammer to teach the others a lesson. I would freeze them in a block of ice. I would just fucking do everything you should. Just really inconsiderate shit.
Was this in front of other people or
Sometimes.
was this on your... Oh, my God,
there was one point where I was trying to start a gaming group in like when I was a freshman in college at a local game store, and after a particularly infuriating round where, for what it's worth, my opponent was also like, or my opponent was fine. It was a guy behind me who was just saying like, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up every time. I just got pissed and like pitched my dice at a wall, and that effectively dissolved the group before it could ever start. So I would say, first off, don't be aggro as hell. Take a chill pill and understand it is just a game, even if it's not going to be a very fun one.
No, I mean, but that's like, I can totally understand it when you're a teenager. You don't really have a lot of empathy built up, right? Yeah. You don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. Well, I mean, like you didn't.
I didn't.
Somebody might, but we certainly didn't. And so you don't really understand that like doing that sort of stuff in front of your opponent and so is like really off-putting.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I had an opponent in high school who, Car in the Betrayer failed in one game, and he threw the model on the ground and stomped on it.
Holy shit.
And I'm just like, was
it metal?
Yeah.
I hope he had boots on.
He had shoes on.
Okay, yeah.
But still, it's like, this isn't really, like, I was like, that cost money. Those ain't cheap.
Yeah.
You put time putting that together.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to play you very much anymore. But yeah, like, it's being able to recognize when you're feeling kind of shitty as hopefully an older listener than, 16 or whatever, or even if you are 16, being able to recognize when you're feeling that way, not just kind of bummed, but like starting to get angry and kind of figuring out how to recenter yourself. That's probably something that you should talk to someone who's better at like mental health care to talk about. But we can at least point to some other things you can do aside from don't get shitty and mad.
Well, I'll talk about what I did in this recent game. I did not get shitty or mad. Amazingly, I had a little mantra going on of it's a dice game, and honestly, I was just happy to play Blood Bowl in person and play with my Baja Blasters because I haven't really had a chance to play with them that much or at all. So for me, it was more like I'm just happy to be here kind of thing. But you just got to remember, it's a fucking dice game, and those cubes, they can get you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not rolling a lot of dice at once. When you're firing like a Lehman Russ Punisher Gatling cannon and you're firing like 20 shots or whatever, like a few ones, who cares? You know? But on that like one important roll that you really have to make, that one save roll that will make it or break for you. And it's just like, all right, all I need is a fucking 3. Come on, 3. And you see that 2 roll up and you're just like, cool. Feels bad. Hate to see it. Like, That's a situation where you just got to be like, it's a fucking dice game. So that's what I try to tell myself is it's a dice game. And just take it easy. Just, it's just a fucking dice roll, man. It's not a big deal.
There was a dude in my dad's old gaming group who, every time his opponent would start getting like kind of shitty, kind of mad or whatever, or in like their start, or, whatever. There's a whole bunch of ways of trusting salt. He would just be like, hey, are you working right now? All right, could be worse.
I mean, honestly, that's good advice, though.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that is definitely like some old guy shit.
Oh, yeah, and he was an old guy.
But that makes sense. Like, you're not fucking working. You're not fucking dealing with bullshit. You're just out trying to have some fun. And yeah, the dice might suck, and yeah, you might end up losing this game, but you're still just playing a game.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Now, here's a question, Campbell. What happens when their dice suck?
When their dice suck, that's when I'm just like, I break out the "I'm so sorry, dudes." Like when when it's like, oh god, like you got to be gracious in the face of good fortune for you, as well as in bad fortune for them. Yeah. So like, that's where like, obviously some people might take some of these things as somewhat insulting. Like you don't like pander to them or pull your punches too hard. But like I remember playing a game against someone back in my old game club, and this was back in the days of deep strike mishaps, and he had a blob of 30 plague bearers and epidemius, this like prohibitively expensive big brick of shit. Mishapped, rolled a 1, gone, just dead. Don't even get to deploy. And I was like, dude, if you want to, you can re-roll that or put them somewhere else or whatever. And he just went, no man, it's the game. That's just the game. And I'm like, all right, cool. I gave it the shot. Or like another time when I had a unit of 10 grots kill 5 out of 6 Terminators in a squad with a round of shooting.
Oh my God.
And I'm just kind of like, I'm so sorry, dude. You hate to like, that's so unlikely. Like you don't rub your face in it, rub their face in it. And like this sort of thing happens, every so often, and it's where you kind of need to understand that it's not just you versus your opponent, it's the both of you versus probability and the dice gods, and sometimes they just don't like one or both of you.
Right. And like one of the things that I've learned a lot playing these games and being in this hobby is that you know, if you're benefiting or on the bad side of probability spikes, like you just gotta chill. Okay, well, if I'm playing you and you're rolling like shit, I'm probably gonna rub it in your face because we're good friends.
Right. You gotta take read the temperature, read the room a little bit. Like, yeah, I was rubbing it in Rob's face when he missed a bunker with a meltagun 4 turns in a row or whatever, because it was really fucking funny.
Right. But I remember I was playing the other Raven Guard player in New Orleans, and he had a slew of bad rolls at one point, and it was obviously disheartening. But instead of being like, "Oh fuck yeah, motherfucker, you fucking suck, your dice suck," it was like, God sucks, guy. Oh, it's terrible. And you open the dialogue so the other person can express their feelings to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're almost playing like a gaming table therapist a little bit, where you don't just straight up be like, okay, so how does that make you feel? Though it would be funny to ironically do that to one of your good friends,
right?
When that happens. But you open the dialogue of like, oh man, that's really sucks, that's really bad probability, and so they can like vent about it a little bit, and everybody can, the pressure can decrease a little bit,
right? Because if you're like, if you're the one having a bad time, and you're just like holding it in like entirely, and like you're actually upset, that can really be deleterious to your enjoyment of the rest of the time there. While if you have that opportunity to open up a little bit, that can be very helpful.
Right. And like having a bad game happens to everybody.
Yes.
I mean, it happened to me twice in a row at New Orleans on Sunday, Yeah. And both games, I was just like, I got about halfway through them and I'm like, man, I ain't winning this. And I was like, okay, I could just like not care about it and be kind of shitty and whatever, or I can just like sit down at the table and chill and just crack jokes, and try to have fun, and go for the like tiny little moral victories of like, all right, well, I'm gonna kill that guy over there, or I'm definitely not, this squad's not gonna fucking die, you're gonna do whatever you want, but this squad's not gonna fucking die. That sort of stuff, where you have to like refocus and reconfigure your mindset, because you're like, all right, well, I'm out of this game, but I can still have a little bit of fun. Yeah,
you can still play around in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. So what about when your dice are super hot, Campbell? When you're just like fucking 6s everywhere. You're playing Kill Team, everybody's favorite game. That's not bad at all and is really good.
It's fine. You're playing Kill Team is fine.
You're playing Kill Team and you're just fucking rolling 6s like it's your goddamn job.
That's when you got to read the room and kind of match your opponent's mood with it to a degree, so you don't come off as a bad winner. Like, you don't want to be like, get dunked on, motherfucker, and they're like
Space Jam blasting from your phone speakers.
Blasting Space Jam, actually like hijacking the PA in the game store so you can blast Space Jam over that on loop, as you systematically make them put their models back in the case before their mom comes to pick them up because they're 14 years old. Yeah, like, you got to be gracious in victory. Like, being a good sport is something that should be drilled into everybody at a very young age, and it isn't. At that point, you just got to be like, okay, you don't pull your punches completely, but that's when it's like, I can roll my 5 bolters or my 4 bolters and 1 auxiliary grenade launcher, because mathematically that does 1.13 wounds versus 1.0 wounds. Like, no, just fucking do the thing that goes faster. Just like, you don't need that little numerical edge here. If you're up 80-2, unless you're in some sort of wild tournament environment where the points really will matter broadly, you don't need to work to score everything as hard as you can. Like, you can kind of chill out yourself a bit, take the pressure off a little bit, and just kind of chill out a little bit up there on your fucking throne.
Right.
And like, yeah, again, be gracious in victory and read the room, and sometimes be like, oh, fuck, man, I was not expecting to roll 10 6s, but there they are. Like, again, generally, you're opening that dialogue again.
I mean, generally, when somebody rolls really well at the game table, like something crazy good, like, everybody's usually pretty happy about it, even if that means I'm losing the game. Yeah. Like, if somebody like slams a bunch of like 6-up feel no pains at the correct moment, it's like, all right, you've got 5 damage and 3 of them need to be 6s or your character dies.
Right.
And they're like, okay. And they roll those 5 dice and 3 6s pop up, and it's like,
oh yeah, in my last,
everybody's yelling.
In my last game, as awkward as it was, there was one point where he had like 9 wounds on his zoanthropes, and his unit would fucking die. And I was like, if you make all these saves, I will high five you right now. And he made 8 out of 9. I'm like, your guys are alive. No high five from me though, bud.
You did not fulfill the terms of the deal. Yeah. So. Like, there's also when their dice are hot, right? Like, right. I was telling the story at New Orleans where I'm still laughing about it because it's crazy. My Redemptor charges 3 Vanguard veterans, and they do 17 unsaved wounds to the Redemptor. Which, at that point, I was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Fine, it's your Redemptor now. It's fucking your problem.
You're playing for pink slips.
No, yeah, but like, it's a dice game.
Yeah, I would say, like, as far as tactically what to do, like, let's say you're still in it, like, oh, their dice are just kicking your ass and it's turn 2. You still got a good amount of your army left. You could still make it up. It's kind of where you got to be like, really work on damage control and target priority. Like, just be like, I know I'm overcommitting to kill this one unit, but I have to kill this one unit, so I'm gonna do it, because I'd rather overcommit and kill this than undercommit and kill nothing.
Right.
Like,
yes, that is the worst feeling in Warhammer 40,000 when you're like, oh, I think I can reasonably spread my shots around and maybe take down a couple of these important things, and you do that and nothing dies.
Yeah. I'm not going to say never split your fire, but be very mindful of when you split your fire.
It depends. Like, oh man, I was playing Rob at Goonhammer Open before. We were doing a little quick practice game, and I had like 2 macro plasma incinerators on his fucking Rhino. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to blast this shit. And like, the first one, I do 4 hits, and I'm like, all right, wounding on 3s, 4 1s and 2s. And I was like, oh, at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not killing this vehicle, so I'm not going to get my Oaths of Moment, because this is the only vehicle I actually fucking put a beat on. I was like, all right, I guess I'll roll the other one. I did like 2 wounds to it. Yeah. And I'm like, because that wound roll too was brutal. I think I hit like 5 times, and I think I missed 3 of the wound rolls of 3+. So yeah, it's at that point you're just like, all right, man, here you go.
Yep.
I'm giving you a gift of a bad turn.
I would say the silver lining here, especially if you're in a tournament situation or, a multi-day event situation, is like if your game ends early because your dice were hot or their dice were hot, that means more time for lunch, more time for drinking, more time for taking a nap, whatever. Like that is honestly one of my games of GHO was like rather quick, and I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna lie down for an hour.
Right. No, I mean that's a good point. These multi-day things, you're just like, oh, a quick game? Oh, fuck yeah, quick game. Let's do it.
Yeah. And
here's all my shit. Kill it quick, please. I'm trying to get some fucking lunch.
Yeah. And like even now when I'm like going to my game store and, the store closes at 9, but if like I leave at like 8:15 or whatever, I'm like, sweet, I got more time at home.
Are you pubbing like when you hit the store on Mondays?
So they have a draft line there. So I usually get a beer or two whilst I am there.
No. I mean like getting public games in.
We have a Discord server for the game store. Okay. So I'll be like, who's up for a game on, Monday, and they'll be like, and someone will be like, I'm down, and I'll be like, and we'll just negotiate it. I've only done one, like, I'm showing up at the store to see who shows up thing, because there was no infrastructure there aside from, hey, y'all, we're doing a Warhammer night. And that fortunately coalesced into the group I've been gaming with for the last few months. No, I thought you meant pub crawling, which is, also fun. And again, if you're playing a game with somebody who you like afterwards, you can be like, if you like stomp them, be like, first round's on me, I
think that wraps it up for the most part.
I think so too.
I mean, dice game, bud. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can't get mad at these cubes.
No. They're beautiful.
They're just cubes. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, they are randomly assigning probability. So yeah, that's what they do.
Can't get mad at those. You can't. Man, I'm glad you've moved on from your smashing them with a hammer phase.
Christ, me too. For so many reasons. I'm so happy I don't punch holes in walls anymore either.
You were punching holes in walls?
I full on Kyled a few walls in my parents' old house. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was a rather aggro teen.
Dude, as angry as I seem on the show, I've literally never punched a hole in the wall.
I used to hit things. I got in fights. I was a very angry teen and tween.
I didn't even really get into fights until like definitely like high school.
Yeah, I got in a few in like 8th grade in high school, yeah.
Well, I guess like against my brother, we were fighting all the time because, brothers. But like I'm trying to think. Well, maybe in middle school. Maybe in middle school there was a couple, but it was definitely situations where it was more like my friends were fighting with other people, and I was just like there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're heroically intervening for your friends.
Yeah. No, more like just like off to the side being like, I don't want to get hit. Please don't hit me. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Black Templars some more. You talked about getting a game in with them earlier in the show, and you got yourself a little bookie book there, fella.
That I do, and I am turnt for Templars. This book is so fucking good. It makes me so happy, and
it's good. It's real good.
It's like good on the tabletop, but also like so fucking fluffy. And we're gonna dig into Crusade focus Black Templars today, and we're going to exemplify how fluffy this fucking Crusade section is, because you bet your sweet bippy that the Crusade section for the faction of actual Crusaders lives up to its name.
Oh, it certainly fucking does. And before you listeners say it, yes, I know that we're leapfrogging like 50 other codexes to do this one. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, would you believe that Templars jumped up on the queue for me? Only have 4,400 points of the little fuckers painted.
All right, so Black Templar Crusade section. This is meaty. This is good. Let's get into it. Let's talk about some agendas, Campbell, and let's start with the Fulfill Your Vows agenda. Right off the bat, I like it.
Yeah, so every battle, like at like the deployment stage, you choose a vow for the army.
Can we talk about the vows? Let's back it up a little bit, because I want to talk about these fucking vows, because they fucking rule.
Yeah, because this is something that isn't just Crusade exclusive. This is something that's just in the game. So there's 4 vows, which if you played Templars in 4th edition, or at least are familiar with them from 4th edition, you'll remember the names.
So this replaces the super doctrine,
right?
Is what the shorthand for it is, which is like Raven Guard in the tactical doctrine. You get +1 to hit and +1 to wound against characters.
Right. Ultramarines in the tactical doctrine count as stationary.
Right. So instead of moving around with the doctrines like everybody else does, the Black Templars, they just get to pick a vow at the beginning of the game that lasts for the entire length of the game, and they they just get the rules.
Yeah, but the cool thing is they have a vow and a passion. So you have a benefit and a drawback. So I'll rattle through them real quick. You've got suffer not the unclean to live, which basically means whenever you roll a hit in melee, you get a 6 auto wounds on a non-vehicle target. Yeah. Which kicks ass considering how many attacks these guys got.
Oh, but it's so good. That is such a good trait to have.
But the passion for that is each time that unit is selected to charge, and they have to charge a unit within 12 inches that is closest and not engaged with another unit already. So you might be holding an objective, but there's a couple orc boys a little bit of ways. You're gonna book it for them.
This is exactly what the Black Templar and the Salamanders were arguing about in Hades Hive.
Why would I hold this objective? Yeah, Hades Hive. Why would I hold this objective when there's more shit to kill?
What was that book called with Grimaldus?
Hell's Reach. The book kicks ass.
Hell's Reach Hive.
No,
was it? Yeah. They were fighting in Hell's Reach.
Okay.
Sorry,
that's fine. Hades Hive is Yarrick's thing.
Yeah, these names, it all runs together in my fucking mush brain.
Yeah, you've only got so much room for grimdark proper nouns. All right, so you've got Uphold the Honor of the Emperor, which gives the whole army a 5-up invuln, and transhuman physiology, a soft transhuman physiology. Basically, wound rolls of 1 or 2 always fail. This one is such a good, if you don't know what to take, just take this one.
It's crazy good.
It's never not good. It makes an armored company list super viable because repulsors and land raiders with 5-up invulns suddenly get a good bit better, especially because the passion is you don't get benefits of cover, which
who needs it?
You're running out to chop stuff up. You're driving around tanks. Who fucking needs it? You got
so the only thing you do get diminishing returns if you're going to be taking a bunch of Blade Guard or something with this, because they don't really benefit from this at all, because they do want cover because they get that sweet 1-up save at that point.
Right.
But if you're gonna do something crazy like take Redemptors, then this is the fucking one you want, because Redemptors with a 5-up invulnerable are pretty fucking good.
Yup. You've got Abhor the Witch, Destroy the Witch. The Vitch. Sorry, I was holding back a burp. This one I think is probably the weakest of them, which is once we're
unless your best friend has 1,000 Suns already.
It's fuck 1,000 Suns in particular. Basically, turn 1, as long as the enemy army has Psychers in it, you get to add 3 inches to the move characteristic of everything in your army, and they reroll wound rolls of 1 against Psychers. That's fine, I guess, but you also can't perform actions if you're within 18 inches of a Psyker because your guys are just too mad, which is very bad and very funny.
They're too mad to do anything but try to kill Psychers.
And then the last one is accept any challenge, no matter the odds, which basically means your guys always count if they're engaged, which is where you want them. They always count as in the assault doctrine, and they always benefit from shock assault. Essentially, but they can't fall back, which that is actually a good benefit drawback.
I love that. It's just it's just so funny to me. These rules, these passions, they have a couple lines here, and then you finally get to accept any challenge, and it's the passion. This unit cannot fall back. Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts in there. It's just a straight statement.
Just can't fucking do it.
Yeah. The only unit that ignores them is the Primaris Sword Brethren.
Yeah, they ignore the passions.
Right.
But they don't ignore the vows. They get the good stuff without any of the bad. Yeah. So let's go back to fulfill your vows, this agenda for Black Templar. So for each vow you do, there is a certain set of situations that you have to fulfill to get XP based on what vow you've taken. For example, for Abhor the Witch, Destroy the Witch, you keep a tally, and each time you kill an enemy Psyker unit, you add 1, 2 in the case if it's a Psyker character, and then you get 1 experience point to a max of 3 for each mark on your Abhor the Witch tally. So if you are abhorring the witch, then you get experience for abhorring the witch.
Shocker.
It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
These ones are a little bit hard though, as far as like agenda quality goes.
Yeah.
Like accept any challenge is like you have to kill stuff of like with 11 or more models in it.
You need to be fighting horde armies essentially.
Right.
And
which you don't always do that.
No.
And honestly, a lot of the times you're not killing them in combat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Which is, again, 1 tally in your XP thing for each unit of 11 or more, or 2 for unit of 21 or more. But yeah, that one's a little shaky.
Suffer not the unclean to live is great if the person is bringing a lot of vehicles or monsters. Like, so if you were doing a crusade game against your friend Q, who brought a bunch of monsters, you're like, all right, well, I'm a suffer not the unclean to live here.
Right.
And you're going to get a bunch of experience point off killing monsters.
Right. Again, max of 3. And lastly, there's Uphold the Honor of the Emperor, which is the only one that's different here, really, in how it works, which is 1 XP for a unit being in the enemy deployment zone, 2 if they're above half strength. So you're probably going to be doing most of these anyway, and they tie into their vows, which kind of dictates the playstyle of your army. So I feel like this is a very, I'm not going to say it's always the best choice to take, but this is a solid agenda. And the fact that's 4 agendas in 1 is pretty cool.
Yeah, depending on what you plan on taking in the battle. Though the Uphold the Honor one is pretty bad, I think, because Space Marines generally fight over the middle of the board. They're rarely, unless you're using a lot of drop pods and shit, they rarely end up ending the game in the enemy deployment zone.
Right.
We got first-hand experience as our next agenda. This one is so thematic.
Yeah, I like it because of how thematic it is. Basically, any unit with a scout or neophyte keywords, so crusaders, scouts, scout bikers, they get a tally. They basically max of 2 on the tally, 1 each. So if they're on an objective marker outside your deployment zone, they get a tally, and if they kill a unit in a round, they get a tally. If you do both, you get 2 experience points, which I like. You're trying to show them how to do everything. It's again you're right, it's very thematic, and because it doesn't just apply to pure scout units but to crusader units, which you actually will probably be taking because they're cool, you'll actually have a good reason to take it. And
the only drawback to this agenda is it's not actually very good.
No, it's not. And you have to
a lot of the times the units that are scoring objectives aren't killing anything.
Well, the thing is,
the whole game.
Well, they only need to. It's at the end of a turn they need to be doing this. So if they're on
no, I understand that.
Okay.
There's not. It's like okay, so your intercessor squad that's hanging out on an objective it's not going to kill anything.
It's just hanging out in the objective.
Entire game.
Yeah,
they're just going to hang.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean?
The idea of this be this more like they run up, clear a squad off an objective, and they hold the objective. Cool, there's your 2 points. Or hold an objective, then move off it and kill something. There's your 2 points. Yeah, I get you though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not awful, but it's just this is like for a Crusader squad that's going to be running up the middle of the table. Yeah, sure. But for the rest of your army, nothing's going to score any XP. So as fun and thematic as this one is, and how much sense it makes, it is, I think, going to be actually pretty hard to do on a regular basis.
I get that. And last but certainly least is Reconsecration, which is your very typical standard recover the relic stratagem, which is cool. It's fine.
They're fun.
It's fun.
They're
it's thematic.
Fun. We've said it many times. We always say that people should be taking these extra objective agendas because they change the game a little bit.
Yeah.
They make things different, and it's fun every time you do it because you're like, all right, well, now I got multiple objectives in play here. Let's try to get them. And if you get this objective, Campbell, you get free relics.
Yeah, which is really cool. No, the only reason I say it's last but least is because we've seen it before. But in this army, it makes a lot of sense.
We'll get to relics in a bit, but they've got a lot of them, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Wait, no, we can get to relics right now because it's requisition time, and our first requisition is relic bearers.
But the thing is, this isn't just your this isn't the relics like you are probably thinking of it, dear listener. Black Templars get their own separate set of relics, like squad level relics you can take that cost in normal games like between 10 and 20 points, which range from things like the Holy Orb, which is just a grenade, to various things that offer squad level
it's
or character
It's the fucking holy hand grenade.
It used to be called the Holy Orb of Antioch. Like they were even less subtle about it back and forth.
Yeah, but there's like upgraded special weapons or things that reduce damage or increase leadership or all sorts of fun stuff. These are really good.
Yeah.
Because like once you start putting relics on regular squads, shit can get real fucking real.
Yeah, they aren't quite as wild as like the relics your characters can usually take, but they're cheaper, and you can take as many of them as you have points, or in this case, requisition points for. I love that this is here. I love the idea of every squad in your army bearing another sacred relic, like they're a processional, like it. Yeah, I love it. It's so cool.
And it makes your squads really fucking good.
That is also true. Next up is Holy Intervention, or as I call it, the requisition for cowards.
Yep.
So basically, we'll get to in a bit, but you kind of get to fill out these Oath of Crusades, which have all these various conditions that need to be met. And this lets you just spend RP to buy the to just buy it, and that sucks. That's lame. I don't like this at all.
I wish this didn't exist.
It's not in the character of the army. I wish instead they just had one where it was like abandon Oath of Crusade, 3 requisition points, your units take the mark of shame or whatever. Like I wish they had something else,
or like
here.
you could change the oath like in the campaign if you realize you're having trouble with fulfilling the criteria for the oath you've taken. So that would make a whole lot of sense. This one's just like pay requisition and you complete it. It sucks.
Cool.
It's lame.
Fun. Love it.
And if you do it, you're a coward.
Yeah, it is for cowards. If you take this, you're a coward. However, if you are a brave boy, you can be witness to Visions of the Emperor, which turns one of your characters into the Emperor's champion, where provided you don't already have one, which is super fucking thematic because that's like on the eve of battle. Basically, someone gets a vision and they're like, I'm the Emperor's champion today, and they give them the armor of faith and the black sword and all that stuff. Like, and this lets you just do that, which is super fucking cool. And they lose all the relics and stuff, but they get to keep all their experience points. I always like being able to transform units into other units like that. And I feel like
it makes a lot of sense here if you've got a character that is leveled up or something, and you find yourself like, man, I need some melee help. Maybe you didn't have enough power level to take an Emperor's Champion yet, but suddenly you find yourself, hold up, I need some melee help in this campaign. I'm turning this lieutenant into a fucking Emperor's Champion, and we're going to start wrecking shit in combat.
Yeah, which is the Emperor's Champion's a cruise missile that walks like a man, so this is a fun one to take.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last, and I think actually the coolest of these is the Marshal's Chosen.
Oh, yeah.
So if a Crusader squad, either Primaris or small, depending on some things, that has the battle hardened or higher rank, you get to spend this for 1 RP and promote them essentially. So basically, you can replace your Crusader squad with Sword Brethren and Intercessors / Assault Intercessors as the Neophytes Initiates are promoted, or for small Marines, you get to promote them to Vanguard Vets and Tactical / Assault Marines as the Initiates and Neophytes. They are promoted. They get to keep relics, weapon enhancements, and keep their old battle honors or take new ones if they can't take the old ones. And this shit kicks so much ass. It reflects the fluff in the backstory so well, and it's just such a cool thing to work towards. I love this so much.
No, it's totally hilarious. Like, so you're like, all right, I've got this big ass Crusader squad and they're doing great. They've leveled up, but what if I turned it into a smaller troop squad and then a fucking Sword Brethren squad, which, as we well know, Sword Brethren kick fucking ass.
Yeah.
The only problem with Sword Brethren is they're tied to the models.
Yeah, their war gear
weapons bullshit.
Their war gear page gives me a goddamn aneurysm.
Yeah, it's like because you have they come with a bunch of different weapons, but you can only build them based on what models are there.
So it's like 1 in 5 can have X, 1 in 5 can have Z, 1 in 5 can have G. Like it's frustrating.
It's really annoying. You can't just customize your squad, which sucks. But whatever. So it's really cool that you can take your Crusader squad and break them into smaller, more specialized squads. And then you can rearm and resupply also with your requisition points in the campaign. And you can build your 5-man Sword Brethren squad that came out of your Crusader squad, and you can bring it up to 10-man.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that is really fucking cool.
So it's a really cool, thematic, very Black Templar thing.
Yeah. And again, the whole notion of scouts being promoted to Marines and Marines being promoted to veterans isn't something that you can do in a regular game of 40k, but in Crusade, it's right at home. Love it.
It's just cool extra level shit, man.
Yeah. That's what Crusade's for, Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some battle traits here.
Sure.
We've got 3 categories. Crusader squads get their own battle trait category. Priests, of course, your chaplains mostly get their own category. And then all your veterans, including Sword Brethren, Blade Guard, Vanguard, and Terminator, but not Stern Guard, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
But nobody ever takes Stern Guard, so it doesn't fucking matter.
I have a unit of 10 of them. I have used them once.
I like, out of the Crusader Squad units, I like the Faithful Squires one. So there's two. There's Exceptional Mentors and Faithful Squires. Exceptional Mentors is like the scouts in your Crusader Squad get better because the Marines are good at teaching them. And then Faithful Squires, the Marines in your Crusader Squad get better because the scouts are good at serving them.
Yeah, it's really cute. And I like the bit on the Primaris Crusaders, or Primaris, like the upgrade kit where the Primaris Neophyte is holding his his knight's helmet. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it basically, they get to give each other reroll wound rolls of 1, which is cool. Personally, I like Unbreakable Faith because it lets one model of the unit regain a lost wound, which is pretty neat. But also, when the unit is below half strength, they add 1 to the leadership characteristic. So they basically ignore the penalty for being under half strength, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Which they will be, because neophytes eat bullets.
The priest unit stuff is pretty basic, so we don't have to worry about it right now.
Yep.
But then the Sword Brethren, the veterans, we're just going to call them the veterans, the veteran category, there's some fun stuff in here.
Yeah, like I really like a Selfless Martyrs. While if the unit is below starting strength, they get +1 attacks and +1 leadership.
Very nice.
They're mad.
Yeah, the Blades of the Emperor, though, for me, is... like, because you want chaplain support. The Bookter Cycle chaplain is a hugely important model in the Black Templar range.
That's why I have one.
Because, so if these guys are affected by any litanies of the devout, which are the Black Templar litanies, they unmodified rolls of 6 in melee score an additional hit.
Yeah, which
I've felt the brunt of that myself recently. It's a very strong ability.
Yeah, like, and these are all like, these range from like boring but good, such as like increase weapon skill by 1 to to things that are a bit more thematic and still useful, like performing heroic interventions like their characters. Like
that one's crazy good though.
The veteran ones are fantastic.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to Oaths of Crusade. This is where this shit really kicks in a high gear.
Yeah.
I love this. It's a choose your own adventure Crusade situation.
Yeah. So basically, you have 4 tables, a deed, a foe, a condition, and a situation, and you string them together. And ideally by saying them all out loud every single turn. So basically, you can pick just a deed and a foe, a deed, a foe, and a condition. Like you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Like if you want to do the last one, you need to do all 4.
You can't pick 2 deeds.
Right.
You can't pick 2 foes. You can't pick 2 conditions or situations. You have to do 1 deed. It's 0 to 1 deed, 0 to 1 foe, 0 to 1 condition, 0 to 1 situation.
Right.
For your Oaths of Crusade here. And the first thing that jumps out at you is that they tell you how to read these.
Yeah.
And it's in the name of the immortal emperor, I hereby vow to deed, foe, condition, situation. And so that gets you shit like, I'm just going to pick the first one in every table here, Campbell. In the name of the immortal emperor, I hereby vow to bring glory to his name and lay low the foe's mightiest heroes without taking a backward step across this forsaken sector.
And you shall know them by the trail of dead. Yeah, this is so fucking cool. And I do like that as instructions on how to say that because that's the thing. I'm going to start every single game with this by reading this aloud, because
you read your oaths aloud so you don't fucking forget them.
Yeah. And each one of them has a thing you need to do and a reward. So for instance, the one Dan just said, bring glory to his name, means win at least 4 battles. Because by the way, these are long term.
Yes, this is Crusade level stuff. This isn't necessarily battle level stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the like bonus content we see in Crusade sections, there's like stuff that matters for in-game, and then there's like a whole new add-on section for stuff that really only matters for the Crusade level, and this is mostly Crusade level stuff.
Which I like having these like long-term things to work towards, because it's like, it's cool, man. Like it really strings together. It is the connective tissue that strings your games together. So the specific thing you said though, that specific Oath of Crusade, bring glory to his name, win 4 battles, and you get the Casket of the Pious, which is a relic piece of the Casket of the Pious, because a lot of these just give you pieces of really wild relics, but sometimes they'll give you, experience points and stuff. Lay low the foe's mightiest heroes, which means kill 4 character models from different factions or 8 character models from the same faction, and that gets you a relic piece for the Seal of the Pious. Then, without taking a backward step, play at least 4 battles in which at the end of the battle no Black Templars have fled. Which means you can give up to 3 Black Templars core units, other than character, monster, and vehicle units, the battle-tested battle trait, which is really fucking cool. And then across this Forsaken sector, play at least 10 different Crusade missions where your army roster contains Black Templars, and you increase your supply limit by 10. These are bonkers. And of course, the more of these you string together, the harder they are to accomplish, because you get them all when you complete them all.
Right. Yeah. You don't get any until you get all of them.
Yeah. So if you want to get and resultantly the rewards kind of scale. So like the situations, sure, the 4th ones take probably the most work to get, or are the biggest rewards, such as removing 3 battle scars, or giving a really rare relic piece or whatever. While,
or every fast attack unit in your army gains 2 experience.
Yeah,
points.
Which is fucking great. Or while, the deeds are just things that are like, everyone with OBSEC gets an XP, which is still pretty good, but like they don't tend to be quite as wild.
Right.
And you can't abandon them either.
No, once you swear to them, you're fucking held to it.
It's an oath. Like, ask any dwarf player how important oaths are, and they'll tell you. They'll tell you for a long time. I fucking love this. This is so thematic. Creates so many little mini objectives for you, the player. This is like this entire book. I will say, we've read a lot of books for this section, and we've said this one's the best, and this one's the best, and whatever. Personally, I think this is the best of them, and I'm not even done talking about it. This is the one that feels the most like a labor of love. Like this. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Like the Dark Eldar, Monopoly game. That's fun. That's clear someone who gives a shit was involved. Sure. But this is like, no, there were people who really gave a shit. Emphatically, about
and
every
not only give a
book.
shit, they understood the source material.
Yes. Like they have Maxime Courbet's, I think it's Courbet, Black Templars in here, which I'm just wild about, because they're like straight from the Third Ed box cover, and I follow him on various social media platforms, and I'm pretty sure he was fairly involved with this, and it shows that like people who really do care about this faction specifically really were involved.
So I want to talk about these reclaimed relics real quick. You touched on them in the Oaths of Crusade section. So some of these oaths, they reward you with pieces of relics.
Yes.
And if you get all the pieces of the relic, I love this shit. This is why I love like RPGs.
Yeah.
When you get like little pieces of items and you can combine them to a fucking super item.
Yep.
Like it's great. So once you get these... A crafting system, exactly. Once you get these pieces of these relics, you can put them together and give them to a character in your army. And there are 4 of them. You got the Hands of the Pious, the Scepter of Fallen Empires, the Sword of the Lost Crusader, and the Penitent's Roar. And they're 4 different powerful relics. Hands of the Pious is good for chaplains. It allows them to do extra litanies, which is... real nice. They know all the litanies instead of only a couple, and they can blast off an extra litany per turn, and if including one that has already been spoken by a different chaplain.
And if they're not a chaplain, they get to become a chaplain too. They get to moonlight. It's sweet.
Scepter of the Fallen Empire is a defensive thing where it's once per game. You can reveal it, and then enemy units within 6 inches get -1 to hit.
That's which you pull down the right turn, and you've just saved your own bacon.
Right, you throw it on your Emperor's Champion, and you just send him into the other guy's character party, and you're like, oh yeah, Scepter. Sorry, everyone.
Yep,
you're not going to win this one. Sword of the Lost Crusader is a very powerful
Power sword.
melee weapon, a power sword. It's +2 strength, AP -3, damage 2, and -1 to hit for incoming hits.
Yeah, so it's a good defensive weapon as well as offensive weapon. And then last but certainly least is the Penitent's Roar, which is just a sniper bolt pistol that causes mortal wounds on wound rolls of 1, which, you know what? It's fun. It's cool.
Relic pistols are generally always bad, but whatever. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. This whole section with the Oaths of Crusade, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And the whole, like, you build your little oath and you say it, you write it down in your Crusade roster, and you can recite it before every battle. Like, it's so much fun. And also, like, once you fulfill your crusade, you start a new crusade.
Yeah, because Black Templars never stop crusading.
No.
Their ship is called the Eternal Crusader for a reason.
A, B, C, Campbell. Always be crusading.
I thought it was ACAB. All crusades are bountiful.
Oh, no, that's something different.
That's something different and more important. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Crusade relics. These are a whole lot better than the Reclaimed relics, let me just tell you. But most Crusade relics are pretty fucking bonkers. Like the first one, the Shackles of the Faithful, love this. This is, to illustrate how Black Templar always chain their weapons to their wrists. So these are some extra magic ones. You can always ignore any modifiers to hit some wounds.
Yeah, which is pretty solid. You've got the Throne Lantern, which is a lamp that scares psychers, which is cool.
It's a flashlight that psychers will hate.
But the coolest one of these is the Black Sword of Sigismund. Not just any cool power sword, but Sigismund's specific black sword, and it's fucking good. It's strength 3, AP 5, damage 3. Nothing more to it. It's just a really good fucking sword because Sigismund used it.
That's strength +3, not strength 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just want to put that out there, bud.
Yeah. The wet pool noodle of Sigismund. No, it is strength +3. So you're going to be getting strength 7, maybe 8, depending on your dude. Yeah. Fucking kicks ass.
But that AP 5 and damage 3 is it's like a fucking thunderhammer.
Yeah.
But AP 5, it's crazy.
This is all cool. But we got the most important part of the section to go.
I got my fucking dice ready.
I got my dice here too, because they got a fucking name generator in here, which any Crusade section without a name generator is C tier at best. Just throwing that.
You're up, man.
All right.
You're going.
Dan, your name today, your Black Templar name is Avar Rolek. How you doing, Avar Rolek?
Avar Rolek. Ooh, okay. Let's see how you're feeling today, bud.
All
right. Ooh, 66.
Ooh.
Raul. I'm sorry. Raul. All right, Raul.
Yeah.
Ooh, 33. Doubles. Both of them. Raul Bremen.
See, my middle name is Bremer, so it's actually fairly close.
Fucking Raul.
Raul Bremen. I also like that one of these is just Guy.
Guy, yeah.
What's your name? Guy Yorgast.
Well, it might be Guy.
It's Guy.
The French version of Guy.
No, the French Knights were in Warhammer Fantasy, not 40k.
I guess so. Yeah, this is a great book with a great Crusade section, and I'm honestly jealous of the Black Templar players. This shit is so cool. Like, we're getting extraordinarily good looks at these data sheets too, with like Helbrecht. Have you seen this guy's data sheet?
I have the Codex. He's good as hell.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. No, like Helbrecht is.
He's got 8 wounds, bud.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. Helbrecht he's got 8 wounds. Yeah, okay. He's a defensive.
He's got an always-on melt-a-gun.
Yeah, he's got a couple little weirdos who do help him out with their strength 3 attacks. But he is just a fucking blender. And again, like, I know we're talking Crusade, and taking named characters in Crusade is kind of missing the point. But
no, don't do it.
But like, yeah, the Sword of the High Marshals, strength +2, AP 3, damage 1, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1 each time an attack is made.
That's 12 attacks. That's 14 attacks
14
when he
attacks on the
charges.
charge, which he should be because he's a Black Templar. And two-handed, it's strength times 2, AP 3, damage 3. Again, hitting like a Thunderhammer on 2s.
Yeah, no, Hellbreak. Okay, so we've already talked about the Emperor's Champion, how he's basically just like an anti-character cruise missile. Very, very strong in combat, and just you don't get in combat with the Emperor. Like Drazar might be able to take the Emperor's Champion.
Maybe
But that's like it.
Like
maybe
the old Emperor's Champion, who was no slouch. I took out Belisarius Call in 1 round of combat, and he's better now.
Significantly better, I'd say. Yeah. Honestly, Grimaldus is like okay, but his friendos are like really strong.
Yeah,
you know the
Cenobite Servitors.
Yeah, where they have 3 different
buffs,
relics that they carry around, right?
Yeah.
The Banner of Fallen Crusaders, the Remnant of the Fallen Temple, and the Scepter of Anointing, and each one buffs either gives an ability or makes Grimaldus's abilities better.
Then, of course, Grimaldus can stand back up when he dies, just like in the book. And he also can deny psychic powers, in addition to having access to a kick-ass set of litanies.
No, he's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And the characters are priced to move. Like Grimy is only 140. Like Helbrecht is only 160 for a chapter master. Like
a chapter master with that ridiculous profile.
Yeah, and the champion is only a hundo, like right in the dot. Like the troops are.
I think the characters in this book, the name characters are really, really strong. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the Sword Brethren squad. As cool as they look, the Primaris Sword Brethren, because they do look really fucking cool. But they're just hamstrung by the fact that you can't give them all lightning claws.
You can give them all power swords, which is cute, I guess. They also like Blade Guard do some of the stuff they do better, since they're also
Blade Guard are just a better unit. If you're gonna spend points on elite infantry, Blade Guard are still what you want to use.
Yeah, but
they're the best.
But I'm
still gold standard.
I'm still getting those sword bros. They're fucking cool.
The Primaris Crusader squad, I think taking one. And I'm talking, match play stuff here. I think taking one might be a good idea, just because you can, jack this squad up to like 20 guys or whatever, which is just going to be hard to shift.
Yeah, that's a lot of board control, especially if you have a chap or an apothecary backing them up.
Right, but I don't see you taking more than one of these. Like your other 2 troops choices are generally going to be like smaller squads that hide in the back and just sit in objectives.
I mean, even in the game I just played, I took a 5-man Crusader squad, small Crusader with a las cannon, just stuck them in a ruin.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
I mean, I've been taking that since, 8th edition.
Right, yeah.
I also think actually a very cool modeling thing is the Crusader squad comes with enough spare bits to basically make either really badass assault intercessors or really badass intercessors with assault bolt rifles.
Yeah.
And I've done that.
Those relics we mentioned that you can upgrade squads with.
Yeah.
Those are on the sprue.
They're on the upgrade sprue that's coming out soon.
Yeah, the Black Templar upgrade sprue, which is just so cool.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to taking impulsors and just like, oh, cool. Those 20 points I would have spent on a shield dome, I've already got a 5-up info, and I'm taking a multi-melta.
Yeah, an impulsor with a multi-melta is kind of mean.
Well, that was always one of my problems with the impulsor is it's like, oh, cool, this can get my guys where they need to go. But after that does that, it can like bop around and annoy things, but can't do anything that substantial.
It holds objectives, or it sits in the middle and gets Oaths of Moment.
Yeah, but
That's
with this, now it can sit and get Oaths of Moment and also kill shit. Rather well, I might add.
Yeah. Like if I would, if I were you, Campbell, I would have 2. I would have 2 impulsors, at least 2 impulsors with multi-meltas, because that's just a fucking good unit, man.
Yeah, it's
14 inches of movement with a multi-melta is no fucking slouch.
Yeah, I had one that was earmarked for my ultras up until about a month ago.
Yeah. Sorry, ultras. But
sorry, ultras. Friendship and Dorn is my new best friend.
Sigismund is your new best friend. Yeah. But he always has been. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's always been there for me.
Yeah, we were talking about this last episode. The whole like how Black Templars just take the satire that Warhammer 40,000 is based on, like the satirical view of authoritarianism, of fascism, and of theocracy.
Yeah, religious fanaticism. Yeah,
they just turn it up to a level where it's actually cool, which is dangerous. It's honestly dangerous because of the ideology behind the Black Templar stuff is truly disgusting.
Oh yeah, but I was actually, one of the reasons I was extra impressed is I've read the Codex cover to cover, the lore sections, the fluff sections, the quotes and everything, which, spoiler alert, the inspo is a Templar one.
Okay, yeah.
The way they are written, it is unambiguous that they're the bad guys. It is unambiguous that even for Imperials, they are dangerous, insufferable, and dangerously fervent, and so bullheaded and so wrongheaded. And I like playing the bad guys once in a while, and they certainly are.
We just have to, as a community, remember that yes, Sigismund is the coolest character in any Warhammer 40,000 book ever. Like bar none, nobody even comes close, and he sucks and is bad, and we shouldn't make our lives to be like Black Templar characters.
No,
just fucking remember that, please.
Yeah, Darth Vader, cool as hell. You don't want to be like him.
Listen, the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One where he gets on the fucking Rebel blockade runner and just murks those poor idiots is probably the coolest minute of cinema ever. And I'm not even a fucking Star Wars guy, and even I know this. But we just also have to remember that Darth Vader sucks.
Yeah, and he's a bad dude.
Sometimes we have to remember that the violence and religion obsessed psychopathic crusaders are actually not something that we should be considering aspirational.
Just windmill slamming repeat on the "Are We the Baddies" sketch.
Yes. All right, let's do some fact or fan fiction here, bud.
Yeah. All right, so I know we talked about doing German accents earlier.
Are you going to do one?
I'm going to do one for one of the characters in this.
I'm so thrilled.
It won't be the first one, but you'll get it. Michael Richeshkevic sat in the drop pod, reminiscing about his upbringing. His parents was Kaldor Drago, current master of the Grey Knights Astartes, and his mother was Rivchena Richeshkevic, cousin to Hannah Shepard. Rivchena and been the first female Grey Knight Astartes, and was on par in size and build with his father, but with massive G-cup breasts and a ass to boot.
Oh, hell yeah.
His mother had experienced immense pain when the power armor that she was wearing with a molecular condenser shield generator had fused into her body, making it even bigger. As in seeping into her body. No punctuation. All right, grunts, listen up. A hard ass of Astartes from the World Eater Legion barked, "This is the newest weaponry available, the Brain Nailer." And the Marine held up the massive assault rifle. "It fires a massive 38 caliber, that's not very big, titanium steel spike round that will detonate once it impacts. So check your targets that don't want to explain to someone, dad or mom, how their snot-nosed punk of a rat died on their first drop." Sure, Michael thought. Antilocles was a real jerk, but the man cared for his troops. You had a personal problem or a problem with a fellow soldier or officer, and the man would offer his life experience and advice free of charge. Heck, there was even a rumor where the man had helped a young recruit to get past a horrific scene. Rivchena used power fists, so her hands had become massive, and her psychic might was even on par with the Emperor. Her body had become impenetrable and indestructible. Michael saw Hannah Shepard more as an aunt than a distant relative. Michael, or Mike as he was called by the group of Marines, as his full name was too long for the battle space field, was being shipped towards the Altiac frontiers where they had received reports of the raids being performed by some unknown alien. Mike checked his brain nail rifle for any glitches but couldn't find any problems. Always good to check the equipment before a drop. 15 minutes till drop! Get ready! Anti-air barrages exploded around them. Mike had inherited all of his parents' enormous gifts, which I assume means his mom's big old booty.
His mom's fucking rocking tits.
And G-cup tits, yeah. Their strengths, durabilities, and even their organs. Yet he was the same size of a normal human, which is why his mother had been absolutely livid when Mike had told her that he was joining up. Kaboom! The shuttle shook violently. "Sir, the airspace is too hot. We can't get any closer to the main drop site," the pilot shouted frantically from the piloting seat. Even if the newly advanced Warbirds was literally indestructible, there was only so much they could do to get the Marines there. "All right, troops, get ready for drop," Antilocles roared. Sir, what is our main objectives? Mike shouted to be heard. Michael, your main objective is to head to the front line and keep those damn Xenos off the back of the rest of the squad. Our main objective is to get to the rescued people. Boom. Sir, you just have to jump now. I can't stay much longer. Just get to the front lines and do what you and your family do best. Give him hell, son. See you on the other side, sir. Mike shouted and jumped. Pilot, take us around. And as an afterthought, he whispered, Emperor be with you, son. Emperor be with you.
Wow. That's just, listen, man. It's fan fiction, all right? But this is the good kind of fan fiction. This is the kind of fan fiction with some fucking mommy milkers, all right? And I'm all about it.
Yeah, it is the kind of fan fiction. You're right, it is fan fiction with real Primaris Bazongas. But yes, that is Psyker Meets Gunnery Chief by Dark Dragon Dude 1234.
Love it. I absolutely love it. You know, sometimes you get the good stuff, and I'm here for it, man.
I like digging up my dreck, you know?
All right, well, let's quickly run through some plugs here. Twitter, we already talked about our Twitter. Email, that's the best way to contact us for just about anything. Contact at 40kbadcast.com. We love to hear from you, so please drop us a line. Just about whatever, man. It doesn't fucking matter. We love to talk to our listeners.
Right.
You can find Campbell on Tumblr at Cam2D. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/40k Badcast, where we have a thing that I don't participate in because I'm not on Facebook.
As well, you shouldn't be.
We should probably get an Instagram at some point.
We probably should.
I'll leave that up to you, guy, because I'm doing the YouTube, and I haven't done that in months. But we do have a YouTube channel. It's 40k Badcast on YouTube, and it is currently just 10 of the first 10 of our podcasts, which you can listen to if you want to. I got to get on actually putting the rest of them up there. I've only got 94 more to do. Yay.
And growing. We're not pivoting to video or anything of the sort, but we might end up doing some other sort of video content and putting up there, which we'll talk about behind the scenes at another time. We also have a merchandise shop at shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast, where you can purchase all sorts of very comfortable and very flammable wearable merchandise, as well as stickers that you can do some very cool crimes with.
My Torco Borco shirt arrived, and I'm very excited.
Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to your Torco Bork experience as you go to the drive-thru in that.
I gotta wash it first, though,
so it doesn't smell like factory anymore.
Yeah, I always wash my clothes before I wear them. I don't know if people do this or not. I've heard of people that don't do it.
It's the only time I'm going to wear clothes that don't have wrinkles in them.
I mean, don't you fold your laundry after you wash it?
I fold it, but I don't iron it.
I don't iron it either, but my shit ain't wrinkly.
Well, some of it is. Some mine is, rather.
Oh, you better not be talking about my shit, motherfucker. I'll come to Oregon and I will show you how not wrinkly my clothes are when I wear them in front of you.
Yeah, I'm not here to drag your drip, dude. So we also have alluded to it multiple times, but we have a Patreon. So you can support us at patreon.com/40k Badcast to join our Discord, get extra stuff to listen to. We just had a very fun and spooky episode on Malignant, which is definitely out by the time you hear this.
You've already put it up. So
I put it up this morning.
It's up.
And we're going to be doing a patron Q&A for next month's episode. I'm committing to that right now. So if you join our Patreon, you can ask us those questions sooner rather than later, and we'll get that out later in November. We also both write for Goonhammer.com. I have been writing up a storm there with reviews of models, Warhammer Plus content, and so on. And you just put out some good stuff too, if I recall correctly.
I just put out an update to the Lost Zone, the Necromunda module that I've been working on for the past, I don't know, forever. Since basically Christmas 2019, I've been working on this shit, and I don't think I'll ever stop. So
it's your Christmas gift to everyone.
And it's a gift that keeps on giving. We're actually running a Lost Zone campaign locally right now, and I am very excited to take part in it because I love Necromunda, and I'm a little Warhammered out, a little 40k'd out at the moment.
I get that. We just had quite a few pretty big events.
Yeah, but I have another one in December. I have to go to Dallas, Texas, and play in the final
I guess.
For this stupid thing, because I'm, I guess, good at 40k now. It's bullshit.
Undeserved. No, very much deserved.
Well, it's, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's deserved, but I do paint really, maybe not well, but hard.
You paint good. You paint good, bros Boyd.
All right, let's do a quote and get out of here.
All right. It is said that in death does duty end. This is indolence, laxity. Your very bones you must give unto the god emperor, that your brothers might fashion them and wear them unto war. Your soul must fight ever on, though it walk now beyond the veil, for your oaths unto the master of mankind are not so easily set aside.
This is how I feel whenever I do YouTube videos for our channel. My bones are doing it, not me. Oh, I hate it. All right. Well,
Only
we're the 40k Badcast. We're bad at 40k, but we do have bones.
We do.
And we will use them after we die to do stuff.
In the skeleton war.
I'm choosing ghosts in the skeleton war.
Well, the cool thing is you can kind of have a civil war among your own remains as your soul goes to the ghost war, goes to Team Ghost, and your bones go to Team Skeleton.
When you die, you choose ghosts or skeletons, and that's it. That's your side. Are you choosing ghosts or skeletons?
I would probably choose skeletons. Skeletons always look like they're having a good time.
I'm fucking going ghosts, bud. Ghosts is so much better. What is a skeleton? It's just bones.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. All right, ghost, cool. You can, like, phase through walls and scare people. Skeleton, yeah, you can scare people. You can also play your ribs like a xylophone. That's a good time. You can do the thing where you pick your skull up and you can bowl with it, or you can do the thing where you like contact juggle it on your big old noodly bone arms. There's endless fun to be had if you're permanently in the bone zone.
Okay, so
I'd rather be in the bone zone than ghoul school, all right?
I understand this, but here's the issue that I have with it. Ghosts fucking rip shit and are the stars of so many movies.
They are.
I mean, popular media is just is saturated with ghosts or josts, if you will. And
chock-a-block with josts, yes.
And like you've talked about it in our Malignant episode, The Conjuring, one of your favorite movies. That's listen, bud, that's not a skeleton story. The idea of a skeleton story doesn't fucking exist. But a ghost story? Yeah.
First off, a skeleton story does exist. One, because I wish that was the sequel to A Christmas Story. Two, because Army of Darkness exists, and that's a skeleton story.
That's a skeleton adjacent story.
That's a skeleton story. There's a skeleton playing a bone flute. A skeleton adjacent story would be House on Haunted Hill with its very good skeleton marionette in it.
I'm sorry. What's the name of the character playing the bone flute?
Skeleton.
No.
Skeleton number 69,
Campbell.
I guess.
No, there is no name because it's not a fucking character. It's a fucking sight gag is all it is.
His name's probably Joe Bones. Bony Joe. Hey, how about this, Dan? How about when we both die, we broker a truce in the skeleton war?
No. Why would I do that? I will own you in the afterlife too, Campbell.
Yeah, only after I harpoon your ghost Astraeus.
Well, my Astraeus it's getting buried with me.
You can take it with you. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, gang. We're the 40k Badcast. Enough of this spooky stuff. We'll see you next time.